internet connection. I hope, and I am sure, all of you have an internet connection. The first big lesson you probably learned while you were doing this one, second I'm going to cough, is that a business internet connection is much more serious. All right, what you probably had to do was at least give up your address and perhaps your phone number, maybe even an email address so they could contact you because they want to sell you something, okay? So with business internet, they want to make some serious money here. Usually you spend some money on it. So that's point number one. What did you guys do out here? Who did you contact? I got a Comcast, a Verizon.
They had a whole kind of choose your plan yourself stuff. So.
Okay, oh, you got to customize it. Verizon. Cox. Okay, so we got around, all right. Everybody, oh, you got it online though, right? Everyone managed to get through it online?
Yeah.
That's all right. So I got a variety, anyway.
The static IP, I know it said it provided one, but I didn't really know how to, like, I went through Cox to see if you could get another one, and I didn't see how to.
Just like
AT&T for a static, for the second one.
Cox would only give you one static IP address. So what's this for? Do you guys know?
Like a website.
Okay. So someone in the class just noted a good idea for a static IP address is a website. So if you're doing a website or you're hosting a web server, you need a static IP address. Oh, I need to close the door. You guys just did a DNS lookup. And you all remember, what does it look up when you type in the name? The IP address. And it needs to be static. Okay? So it needs to stay the same all the time, right? Because you want them to look up the name and come up with the right IP address. So that's important. You're also going to need it if you're going to have email. Okay? So if you want to send and receive email, you need a static IP address. So if you want an email server. Pretty much any server, by the way, is going to end up having a static IP address. This is another one of those situations, by the way. We talked about our label maker. You guys go out and buy one yet? One of the things you're going to do is whenever you have a server and you assign it a static IP address, you're going to make a label with the IP address on it and glue it to the front of the server. There's nothing more annoying than trying to find, hey, where's the server with this IP address? All right, and just to note here, what's a dynamic IP address? What does that mean? This one, it might change. I will just note that. So for example, on Cox, I have a cable modem and I have my router connected to it. I pretty much keep the same IP address all the time. But it will often, well, not often, it doesn't change that often, but the reason it will change is usually when you restart. So if something gets frozen, for example, if I've gotten a dynamic IP address and my computer freezes that had that dynamic IP address, when I go to connect that again, the place I get the IP address from won't know the other IP address was free. And so it will give me a new IP address. We're not going to really discuss that. You guys can do it more in 4.16 or 4.17. So it'll change due to restart and other things. But anyway, this is usually unsuitable for a server. So usually a server is assigned an IP address. Clients are given a dynamic IP address. Add one more point here, and that was the upload speed when you're on a business internet connection. That's usually going to be higher. For a consumer, they expect you to be watching YouTube, or not YouTube, well, I guess YouTube video. You're going to watch videos usually. That's lots of downloading, okay? A business, is going to be emailing files. That's upload. And also, if you're doing a web server, that's going to be a lot of uploading too. Because remember, people are coming from their computer and they're connecting to your web server and they're asking for a file. And when you send back, you're going to send back a lot of stuff. Stuff, that's a networking term. You're going to send back a lot of stuff. So you're going to get a little stuff and send back a lot. So once you're running an email server and a website on your at your business, your upload speed is going to be a lot higher. What was the upload speeds you guys got? See, some of these were pretty bad. This Verizon one, 1 megabit per second.
20.
What did you get for Comcast? You get 20 up? That's huge. What's your down?
50 down and,
Whoa, you got a big one.
I got 15 down and 1 up.
but it,
You got 15 down, 1 up. Who's that for?
That's Verizon.
Verizon too.
That's just small business plans. I've seen how
because of
slow
the
for fast.
plus 10 users is fine.
What did Cox give you?
I've had it on here. I got 60 down and 15 up.
So yeah, that's more like it. 60 down and 15 was for Cox.
260, and those are more constant.
You can get a guarantee here. So yeah, what would you say? Yeah.
Like what we talked about.
Yeah, there's a quality of service. Usually, yeah, you go, there's a business connection, and so they're going to guarantee you will get 60 megabits per second all the time, and that all the time. This one's a lot different than a consumer would be. Usually Cox is usually a 16 and a 5 or something like that for a consumer, and so there's a big old.